have the privilege of introducing Jamie Gold, who's a certified kitchen designer, as well as several other certifications, and has written several books, including her most recent, Wellness by Design, which I think we can all use in our own homes as well as housing in general. And so Jamie's going to talk about the book, and then we'll take questions at the end or throughout, if you like. So, Jamie, yeah, tell me a little bit about why you wrote the book.
Well, I wrote the book because I see the links in my own life and clients' lives and homes about how your home can help you be healthier, safer, happier, and more functional, really. That it can support you or sabotage your well-being. So I wanted to write about that. And when I was finishing my second book, my editor there asked me the question every writer wants to hear, which is, what are you burning to write next? And so I described the idea, and he loved it, but he couldn't get the publisher to say yes, because people weren't really thinking about that then. Fast forward, and I got Simon & Schuster to contract with it, and the book was ready to go to press, as everything shut down. And it was already heading to the printer, so it wasn't like we were going to add chapters. But as it happens, there's chapters in the book on all the things that people were thinking about, in their homes for all those weeks and months, working from home, setting up places for your kids to thrive and study at home, and working out at home for those of us whose gyms closed and stayed closed for months, and enjoying your outdoor space, when maybe your parks were closed off. So people weren't traveling, they were making the most of their homes. So it turned out to be a pretty timely release, even if I couldn't do a book tour.
That makes sense. I mean, especially we were all like stuck in our homes. So what ways were people looking at talk about some examples about what people did during the pandemic and how it's maybe changed now and what features people are looking for.
I think the first things that people were doing is, if they had an office job and they were then going to be working out from home, the idea was, how can I make this work? And in some cases, companies were helping, in other cases, not so much. So, it might have been initially bringing that bridge chair in from the garage, or setting up a dining room table or a kitchen counter, and people were just improvising in whatever ways they could to stay functional in their jobs. And over time, as those situations lengthened, people realized, well, this chair is just giving me a backache, or I don't have enough lighting, or I'm getting a neck ache. And so, having a work from home space that's more ergonomic, that's more supportive of movement, that's better lit. Well, those were in there not knowing that a pandemic was going to create many more work from home situations. Just as the first example. And then people's gyms closed. I was one of them who would work out at a gym and suddenly couldn't do that. So how do you work out from home? How do you create a space that makes that work? Now, some people have gone back to the gym, and other people, myself included, have continued to work out from home. And so, creating fitness spaces was another example. Making your outdoor space something that you bring guests over, because maybe you didn't want to have people in your home. Maybe you had a vulnerable family member. And so entertaining outside became a thing to do. We had people setting up baking centers at home. Baking became a big pandemic activity, so that's creating spaces in your kitchen for that. And we've seen all kinds of ways that people have coped and thrived. And those are not ending, because we're largely past that. People will still continue to make their homes more health friendly for themselves. It's become a big concern for a lot of individuals. Let me share one detail that I came across recently that surprised the heck out of me. In a survey that John Burns Research and Consulting did, 95% of the respondents said that they now understand there's a link between their home and their health. And you wouldn't see that number pre-COVID. And 3/4 of respondents said they're going to choose their next home based on health considerations. So this has just become, it's more than a trend. It's something that's just going to stay with us.
And what about indoor air quality? Isn't that something that people should be looking at as far as improving their health and their wellness in their homes?
And absolutely, that, I think indoor air quality was like top on that list of another survey that people were, their top kitchen concerns were air quality, water purification, natural light, noise. So these are all things that arose as issues over the last few years, but will remain. And anyone who lives on the East Coast who's seeing the pictures of all that smoke coming down from the Canada wildfires knows the importance of indoor air quality. It's not just, reducing germ spread, it's also the pollutants in the air. It's things that could be native to your home based on what materials you have in there, what's off-gassing, what's putting toxins in the air. I think people are just more conscious of that overall at this point.
Mm-hmm. So it has to, what sort of, how can you easily make your house more wellness friendly as well? You mentioned there are 5 different ways.
Well, I have what I call the 5 facets of wellness design, because I'm sort of an organizing freak. So if you have a concept, find a way to make it organized. And so the 5 facets of wellness design that I've identified are health and fitness, safety and security, accessibility, functionality, and comfort and joy. And features in your home, whether it's the layout itself or materials or the elements that you add, will either support or sabotage those. And if you put something into your home that adds to more than one facet, it's going to increase the wellness potential of that space. Can I give you an example?
Yes, are there examples that maybe hit all 5?
Oh, absolutely. One that I think is the easiest to think about is the shower head. And many builder-grade shower heads are just those little things that stick out on the arm. And, if you're renting a place, that's all you get. Well, even if you are a tenant, you can replace that shower head temporarily, or if you own your home indefinitely, with a handheld shower head with a massage setting on it. And that's going to hit all 5 factors. And I did this in my last home, and so when I moved, I had to have it in every shower in the house. For the health and fitness facet, if you work out, let's say you spend hours on a hiking trail or on a bicycle saddle or a horse saddle, you're going to be sore. And being able to aim a stream of massage jet water is just heavenly. So it's going to improve your recovery. It's going to make you happy. It's just going to add to your comfort.
Yeah.
For the accessibility and safety, if you have someone in your home who is in a wheelchair or they have fatigue and they can't stand for long periods of time, being able to take that off the shower arm and use it seated adds accessibility and it adds safety. And functionality-wise, it's much easier to clean a shower stall or a tub shower combination with a removable head than it is one that's fixed. That's all 5 facets in one little item that you can buy at your neighborhood home center or hardware store and take with you when you move.
Right, and it doesn't have to be an expensive one
No,
either.
it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. And it would go, what about all ages? I mean, you think about accessibility and with aging. Younger people interested in this also?
Younger people may not know that there are benefits for them. I think about, a barrier-free entry to a home that you can get in and out of without stairs. That's going to be great for someone in a wheelchair, but it's also great for the parent with a stroller. And it's great for the business traveler with a heavy suitcase. It benefits everyone. Another example are those blind corner cabinets in the kitchen, the ones that you need flashlight and a knee pads to see what you put in there before the millennium. Well, you can, with an organizer with a swing out, you can get to that much more easily without a backache. And that's going to benefit somebody who's in a really small place. And they just want to make more of that space. Maybe they've got some cooking hobby and they can't use that cabinet otherwise. Suddenly, the swing outs, the rollouts, they increase the functionality and the accessibility of that space. So yeah, it's wellness design is for all ages. And I really felt that it was important to create sections in the book that were for people, whether it's a boomer like myself looking to buy a forever home, or a Zoomer in their first apartment after college. Because wellness design cannot be just for the well-to-do. I think COVID really painfully hit that point home.
That makes sense. Well, and I think the wellness design you mentioned extends to feeling happy too. And I know in my own home I created this coffee area and I have a shelf with all these mugs on it, and every day I go and I pick the mug that I want for that day. The mug that's going to make me feel good, like the one with the picture of the Eiffel Tower on it, or the one with the cute sheep. But I mean, how can people easily do something like that in their own home? I mean, what sort of collections, or how can they create something that makes them feel good as well as helps their well-being in other ways?
Oh, I love that you do that, because personalization fits into that comfort and joy fashion. And selecting items, whether it's something that someone made for you or something that just you get to choose which mug you're starting your morning with, just gives you that little hit of dopamine or whatever that joy hormone is. And you can do it at any level. It could be, I have a display of my white pottery collection on a cabinet. It could be an open shelf that you build in. It could be the art that you choose that speaks to your soul rather than matches your sofa. Just things that make that place yours. I wrote a piece for apartment therapy where I talked about my dad died 5 years ago. And it was heartbreaking, but his artwork still lives in my home. So I could sit in my living room and look at a painting that he created. And I have stained glass lamps that he made that just turn house to home. And so, your mug display, that is just an example of personalization.
Okay, well, great. I know there's also, other ways, you think of this and you think of some of these things as costing a lot of money. And I know we were talking earlier, both you and I, about like induction stoves versus gas stoves. And there's all this controversy about gas stoves. Tell us a little bit about like induction stoves and how it can help your wellness in your home.
The whole gas stove war I find somewhat amusing, because you hear gas versus electric. And I've had the old radiant style electric stoves, and I don't like them either. I mean, I think it's the worst of both worlds. And yes, there's that whole ethos of cooking with fire and all the gourmet chefs using it. I discovered induction at a Monogram cooking experience, and we did the side-by-side gas versus induction. And we're talking like a 15,000 BTU high-performance gas, the kind that someone's going to use as a serious chef. That induction top beat the pants off the gas. I mean, it boiled water so much faster. It did not heat up the room. We're coming into the hot months here. If you have an induction cooktop in your kitchen, you're not going to just be dying of heat using it or overstressing your air conditioning system. So you're going to reduce your utility bills. If you have children in the home or maybe an elderly person who's got balance issues, you're reducing the chance of someone burning their hands. It's easier to clean. It's a lot faster to clean. So you're getting dinner to table faster, you're cleaning up faster, it's cooler, it's more comfortable, it's safer. You can pair it with some of the induction-friendly vent hoods and just keep your air cleaner. It's like 21st century technology compared to, what, 18th, 19th century technology? That's where all the innovation is going to be. So I think the controversy is overblown, because I think when people start to really experience this new technology more, they're going to say, why did I ever resist this? I didn't even know it could do that. And it will get more affordable as it becomes more available.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
You know, cost, because I bought an induction stove a while ago, maybe 6 years ago, and the cost was a lot. What ways can people add this wellness to their homes that maybe doesn't cost a lot?
Well, just one last note on that. As something becomes more plentiful, and every year I go to the kitchen bath industry show and there's more models to choose from, different sizes, different price points, we will see that. We've seen it with LEDs too. So you bought it years ago, it cost more. I think my first laser printer cost $3,500 and my latest one cost less than $200. So things do get more affordable. And other ways to create wellness without a big expense. Again, the first is declutter. Second would be, adding plants, adding features like, the handheld massaging shower head, adding anti-fatigue mats to your kitchen. That's a low-cost item that just means that you're standing on something much more cushy. I wish the whole convention center here, every convention center was covered in anti-fatigue mats. So there's a lot of ways to do it. You don't need to be, wealthy to have wellness design in your home.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'll come up with different ideas, and I know your book offers some ideas.
I've got the premium ones. I've got, flotation tubs in there. And I've got, saunas, steam showers. But even going to the kitchen bath industry show this year, you had steam showers at the premium level and at the good and better, as opposed to just the best level. So even that is becoming more available.
What's the one area of the home that's always overlooked for this wellness, for creating wellness?
A garage. How many people like myself, the first room you come into when you come home is your garage? I mean, for those of us who are suburbanites, that's pretty common. And they can be the least welcoming space in your home. So you're coming in every day, and you've got clutter, you've got boxes, you've got all kinds of things there. You've got chemicals you stored before the millennium that have expired 5 years ago. You could start by making that place more organized, safely disposing of chemicals that shouldn't be in there anymore. You can make it functional. You can make it attractive. I have my metal rack in there. I've got a welcoming sign in there. I've got shelving in the garage for overflow items that don't need to take up space in the kitchen or bathroom.
Well, then you create wellness in those rooms too, because you're not having to.
Exactly. I mean, that's a free way to add wellness to the space.
Yeah.
Clutter creates all kinds of stress and dust for people with allergies. Not a good thing.
And reminders that you have to clean it up. That's my problem.
That can be stressful too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so how are you translating wellness by design in your own home?
Well, the first thing I did was I added in organizers in all of my kitchen drawers. I put in the handheld massaging shower heads, not just in my primary bathroom, but for my guests as well. And organic sheets is another, organic bedding and towels was another change that I made, again, for myself and for guests. Personalizing with art. Adding the anti-fatigue mat. I actually got custody of that in the divorce, so I brought that from the East Coast to San Diego. Adding plants. I don't naturally have a green thumb, so I look for plants that improve indoor air quality and will survive my,
Any examples? Any examples of plants like that?
Sansevieria is one of them.
Okay.
It's fairly resilient. It looks good. It's got a little architectural look, and it's got air cleaning properties as well.
That's cool.
Put them in pretty pots.
Yeah, right. Makes you feel good too. Yeah. All right, well, what about any questions? Okay, Sherry.
So I've been writing a lot about induction stoves, and incidentally, when I rented my house, it had.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
Sorry. Induction stoves. The bottom line is you can buy, I bought the bottom of the line for a rental, and it was very inexpensive. And so you can buy really good induction stoves today that are just as inexpensive as gas. And the added advantage is that they're really easy to clean.
Yeah.
Besides being healthy.
You don't get baked on food on your burners.
So
How nice is
One of
that?
my least favorite cleaning chores of all. And there are portable models too.
Yeah.
really, it's a great option. More and more people are becoming aware of induction, I
Thank you for
think.
that.
Great suggestion.
Mary.
Oh, just to add to that, those people who need more convincing about induction, it turns out that there is a law in France now, you know, sort of the heartland of brown cuisine, and that commercial chefs at some point in the near future have to convert from gas to induction. So I think that those changes in the commercial, in the restaurant world, you know, where, oh, I want to be just like, you know, a famous chef and have my cool stove that's all gas, that is going to go by the wayside, and people will move on the induction because the great chefs are going to see the value of it, or be, you know, forced to convert because of the law.
You know, Martin Yan, who's probably one of the most famous Asian chefs, has really, you know, made videos about the benefits of induction. And restaurateurs and catering company owners like the fact that it means less energy use in their and more comfortable environment for their cooks and their chefs.
And they're faster. You can.
Pardon?
You can boil water in.
It's so much faster.
Seconds.
So much faster. What other questions do we have?
Well, back to the induction stoves, I know a friend of mine had bought a certain brand, and so she liked it, so I bought that brand. And my husband said, are we gonna get our money out of this? And he wouldn't now trade it for anything. So I'm glad that I did that. So, I mean, some other people might complain that you have to buy new pots and pans because you do need specialized, but even IKEA sells pots and pans and, you know, for less or.
A lot of people have pans that are fine. You just take your refrigerator magnet, put it on the bottom of the pan, if it's gonna hold, you're fine. And it's more than people think. They don't have to just run out and get a new set. They may not need it.
Right. And being faster, it makes you less frustrated watching the pot trying to boil.
I'm a New Yorker. It's natural built-in impatience.
Yeah. Mary.
I have one on the lower end of the spectrum. When you're talking about the ultimate shower, I bought one of those like $8 shower filters, you know, charcoal filters. What do you think about, you know, in terms of water quality in the house? Like I have the nice one under the sink for my kitchen, but even upstairs, taking a shower with this water that would normally be kind of yellow and full of God knows what chlorine turns into inside a pipe.
She asked about water filtration, water purification, and that's an area that I see built-in filtration units for kitchens, but not really for showers. And every time I go to trade show, I'm asking for that because, you know, having a design background, I don't want something that is going to take away from the look of the shower just to add to the health potential of the shower. Right now, the best solution that I'm aware of is like a whole house filtration system. So it would cover all the rooms, because it's like if you have water filtration for drinking water in the kitchen, that's great, but where do you tend to brush your teeth? Where do you tend to take your vitamins or medications? In your primary bathroom. And that may not have a filtered faucet. So a whole house filtration system, I think, is really the best way to get an overall benefit from it. But there, I agree, we need more options for showers alone. And yes, there are the, you know, the units you can buy on their own. I've yet to find one that is designer friendly.
Well, yeah, I would agree, they're not beautiful, and they're not horrible either.
Would you have it in a architectural digest layout if you were redesigning the bathroom?
Not in the layout, but I put it in after the photo shoot.
That's great. Well, any other questions or?
Sherry has a question.
Okay,
I
sure.
loved your book, I thought your book was
Thank you.
wonderful. I can't remember if you spoke about ERVs, but energy.
About what?
Energy recovery ventilation system. That's,
Well, I talk about ventilation in the book. And in fact, it came out pre-COVID. There's been so much more emphasis on ventilation and filtration. Again, not just because of the transmissibility of the virus, that people whose homes were not well ventilated did not do as well. They had a higher incidence of illness and in many cases more severe illness. So that is definitely an issue. And now we're seeing with all these, you know, smoke and ash from wildfires, how important, you know, good ventilation is and purification. So I didn't take it from a energy sustainability. There are areas where that overlaps. So I think induction is one example where you have sustainability and wellness, you know, playing well together. But, you know, the less you have to spend on your utility bills, the more you can spend on things that make you happy and healthy too. Did that answer the question?
sure.
Well, great. Well, I think we're at about time, but let us know if you have any questions. Otherwise, and thank you so much, Jamie. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you.